Welcome to Store Talk. So today with us on Stool Talk, we have a very important conversation. Things that people think about, but they don't really talk about, or things many have questions about, but they don't know answers. They don't know how to get the knowledge and the right inspiration or the right direction on where to turn. Today with us, we have with us creator, filmmaker, music man, entrepreneur, husband, ministry, Mr. Nick Kayea. How you doing today? Yeah,
Man, that was
man.
great, bro. That
Great to
felt
have
good,
you.
man. I was like, ooh, you making me sound important, bro.
Oh, you are,
I
man.
love
You
it.
are.
I love it.
Oh, that car, that's why we needed to get on here to have this conversation, man, just because of the pulling on so many the youths alive. A lot of them, a lot of my mentor, a lot of them I'm around, or my kids or my stepkids are around. So they ask questions. They want to know direction. And in this world we live in, you have to talk to the people who have the experience or have the knowledge that's in those situations. And you touch
Mm,
on several different one of them. I mean, I'm at the age of 6, you start playing the guitar. You learn how to write music at the age of 11, correct?
yeah.
I mean, so you've been in this for a minute, man.
Whoa, hold on, wait. You been doing some research? How does
Yeah,
he
man,
know
I've
these
been doing a
facts?
little
How does
research,
he know these
man.
facts? All right, cool. Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
man.
So where did this begin? Where did this begin at the age of 6? Was it a TV show you watched? Was it being around it, being involved? Like, how did this start?
Okay, I think there's multiple answers to that question, but I'm gonna make it real quick. One, I was always in church, right? I didn't grow up my family's from Liberia, West Africa, so I grew up in an African church, and so they used to sing African songs and then um, CCM, white people type music. Uh, so there wasn't no stomping, clapping, any of that stuff for me. But being in church and being around the music, I know that that has some type of impact. But I have this memory when I was like maybe like 4 or 5. There was this man that he stayed at our house because he came in town because my family was always one to like when people came in they would host them and everything like that. And he played the
Yeah.
guitar. Man, I can't remember his name, but he played the guitar, and I remember seeing him holding a guitar and walking in my house, and I was like, I want to do that. It was just something like, man, I want to do that. And then so my parents got me in guitar lessons, and I started taking guitar lessons. I wanted to quit because it was hurting my fingers. My mom was like, nah, you're going to keep on going. And we paying for these lessons. You're going to practice. You're going to work hard, et cetera, et cetera. And I thank God every day that, my parents pushed me to not give up, to work on my craft because that opened up other things. Like you said, I started playing when I was 6, and then when I was 10, 11 years old, I started writing songs. I got in a band in middle school. I played the trumpet. Um, I did a musical in 7th grade. I did High School Musical. High School Musical was one of my favorite shows when I was a kid. Yeah, I was a Disney kid, man. I was watching Disney Channel, Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
Um, did I answer your question or not?
Yeah. And you even went into my notes about the Disney and you doing the play. How
Mm-hmm.
was that at that age? Did you know, like, man, I'm really doing this at a high level. I'm really loving what I'm doing. I'm liking it and what I got. You said something inside of you. Do you think that was the Holy Spirit back then speaking and putting something, planting a seed
Yeah,
inside you, birthing something inside?
I definitely think so. It's it's important. I would say it's important to when your kids say that there's something that they want to do and they're being avid about it, like for real, and they keep on going back to it over and over to tap into those things or to look into it or to be able to create a space to where that could be a possibility. And I say that because I was in middle school. I saw that they had musical going on. I knew that I liked musicals and stuff, but that wasn't cool, back when we was in middle school, the whole singing stuff, that wasn't cool. So I was already an outlier on that part about being that dude, but also I love God and everything like that too. So I was already used to kind of being apart, standing apart, but I played football and I was good at it. I was good in sports and everything like that too. So it wasn't like I was a square or anything like that. I had respect for being a good athlete, but also being a good person. But the school gave an opportunity for me to do something, and I took advantage of the opportunity. I think a lot of kids, they secretly like to do things, and when they have the opportunity, they don't take advantage of it because of what somebody else may think, because of their friends, et cetera, et cetera. So even like right now, I got an after school program that I'm working with. And I'm telling these kids like, yo, if you like to do this stuff, do it now. Don't be like those people
Yeah.
that they secretly like music and because it was in middle school, high school, they didn't do nothing. Now they 20, 25, and now they're trying to pursue their rap career, their music career. When it's like, you could have been doing this stuff. You could have been in it. You could have been well groomed, but you didn't want to because of what other people thought, but
Yeah. And you say that, it makes me think. Me and my wife, we're talking to our son, and he's really good at a couple different musical instruments, and he's in band. The
okay.
teacher came to talk to his mom about it, but she never knew that he was excelling at that level. But he tried to shy away because he played the sports and he's doing that. But another thing is, if these kids don't got information, that just like it say in the Bible, if you don't have wisdom, you gotta ask. Who that lacks wisdom, let him ask. So we
Yeah.
have to give them direction, because guess what? You can get that band scholarship to take you to a school that have you playing sports and you can still be in the band. Guess what? When them college scouts come out and see you, they'll be able to see, oh, he's in different type of clubs, he's in band, he's in
Hmm.
sports, so he can do different things. And like you said, some people they hold and try to like if God given them a gift with this music or their talent, whether they're singing or even in ministry, they got that fire that's burning, but they don't want others to see, so they hiding their light. They're putting over their flame, like they don't want to be exposure. So, what do you think we need to do as mentors, as teachers, as leaders, or even people that's around you to allow them to let their light shine?
Well, we have to create that environment and create that space, right? And so what I've learned is that some people have influence over children, some people don't got influence, right?
Yeah,
So the people that have influence, it is their responsibility to create spaces for these children to be able to grow. Because no child wants to do nothing that's lame, that's whack, that it's like, why we want, no child wants to do anything that's dated, that's outdated, right?
yeah,
And so the people that are current, like I said, it is our responsibility. The scripture says to whom much is given, much is required. And so many people, they're so caught up in, I'm going to do whatever I got to do for me, that they're not thinking about the kids, right? Or we got the thing that really upsets me the most, bro, is the people that the kids looking up to, they should not be looking up to.
yeah,
That's the thing that really gets me, is the people that these kids looking up to, they should not be looking up to these people. Because they're not putting out anything that's going to be good for their soul. It's putting them in bondage. So they're looking up the people that's put up in bondage instead of looking up towards the people who can actually teach them to do better. And so they can be the ones who carry influence.
yeah. As being in a musical space and being in a media space where you create films, you create the short stories, the short videos, short musics, or even music videos, how important is it, and how can we be able to portray the kingdom at an authentic place in an authentic picture versus a watered down version of just giving them anything? How can we do that?
Um, do me a favor and ask me that question again
Okay,
one more time.
so being that you're in music, being that you're in film and with the media, how can we portray an authentic and a pure version of kingdom living versus a watered down just what the world is doing? How can we continue to allow us to make the kingdom and God and to put out that positive stuff and make it authentic?
Well, one, we got to do the work. right?
Yeah.
So I don't think a lot of people are doing the work. And then also what I've experienced for me personally is um, a lot of us are doing, or hopefully I'm answering this question right, but a lot of us are doing our own separate stuff and we're not
Yeah.
doing things together, right? And then also what people really want to see is excellence and quality, right? And so we've had a lot of faith-based material that's come out that, tries to, push out Christ and, good things, but nobody want to watch something that looks uh, low budget. You know what I mean? And so very recently, I've seen a lot of stuff that's been coming out that's been higher quality with more excellence. But we just got to put more excellence out there.
Yeah.
Um, and then, but also the thing is, the way that the world is set up is going to glorify and promote, things that are negative. And so the things that are positive, it's harder for it to come out, right? So even like for me, the where I'm at, for the music videos and the content, like I have a lot of things that I got to do, but I also got to pay the bills, you
Yeah.
know. And so I got to take care of this, and then I got to take care of this, but then also I got to create this content as well. And so some things I think that within the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to see a big one influx, but a big war when it comes to kingdom content and worldly content. And I
Yeah.
think the kingdom content is rising because if you think about it now, the way the world is now, it's easier for creatives to kind of get things out the way things are switching.
Yeah.
With streaming and, camera quality coming up and I can, get a pretty good camera for $1,500 or $2,000. Um, and so now is the time of the creatives at this point. And so it's like for us people that believe in God for real, now is
Yeah.
the time for us to be creating that content, creating the real stuff, going digging deep. But then also the Holy Spirit got to give it to you.
Yeah.
He got to be able to give it to you in a way to where it's palpable for the different genres or the different age groups. Because some things is good, but it's for the people that are in their 20s and up. And then some things for the kids that it may have to be a little bit far
Yeah.
down a little bit, but still real at the same way. So it's strategically, we just got to be more strategic, I think.
And I like that you say that. It segue into what I wanted to ask you too about being a creative, because at our church, Embassy City, shout out to Embassy City, and with our Apostle Brian Meadows, he teaches on being creative.
Go, the go.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. He teaches us on being creative and serving and being sons and doing things in excellence. So I really got to see in the last almost a year many different creatives, but not the same, but at a high level, evolving in their craft and allowing God to lead them. They ain't just, and I know you can probably agree with this. You ain't taking just any God job if God ain't involved or you praying
Mhm.
about it or God ain't speaking to you. So you're not just chasing money. So what that's doing is letting your ministry and letting your brand be pure and you allowing God to be in it, because a lot of people say, "Oh, I can connect with this." It don't matter what their name is and how big a platform on it. How is it allowing God to show, or how am I being able to be used purely and authentic in this? So that's going to be able to help too. So now that we got the thorough creation and the clear cameras and we got the nice quality, now we work on getting the actors. Now we work on getting another camera guy. We work on getting all these youth that want to do it and they're seeing it, just like with people coming out with different things and then they're creating it and they're putting it on display. Now, like you said, the kids, they seeing it. Oh, I want to do that. I want, just like me and you, and this was another reason why I wanted to have this conversation after we spoke when we served and the crew. Kids was asking me questions about different things. I want to do this, but I don't know where do I start. I don't know how do I do this. Can you help me with this? So now they're asking questions because they seeing he's close to me. He's giving me an opportunity that I can come talk to him. I might not never knew before who to talk to, but now he is. But I want to do this, but how is it gonna look? And you touched on something too. You were in high school. You were playing sports. You was a Christian. You were serving God and still able to do that. How how in today's society, because I know times are different, in today's society, how would you suggest a youth being able to balance the sports with church and going into like media and doing different things. How would you what advice would you have for them to be able to juggle all of them?
Okay. I'm gonna answer this in two parts. Hopefully, yeah, I'm gonna answer this in two parts. Number, well, I'll answer your question first, I think. One, it's possible to be able to juggle, but two, my mom used to tell me this all the time, and this is one stuff I'm still working on. One, organization is the key to success, right? So you got
I
to be
like
organized, but you have to be um, diligent and committed, right? And so, in order for you to be an athlete and to be a good athlete, you got to be diligent and committed. You got to work out. You got to run. You got to exercise. You got to practice your drills. You got to study the playbook. You got to do the extra work outside. In order for you to be a great musician, you got to put in the time and the effort. Man, I remember when I was, 16, 17 years old, after practice, after practice, I would go home after I did my homework. I'm working on my music
mm,
and nobody's telling me to do it because I want it, right? And so I remember I didn't have all the stuff. I was doing Audacity, man, on a old Dell laptop, but I was practicing my harmonies and singing this part and working on my grounds, right? And so now I'm into a place to where, I got a little bit better equipment. I know what I'm doing a little bit more, but now the work that I put in, 10, 12 years ago, I'm seeing the fruits from it now, right? But you got to be diligent. You have to be intentional, right? And you have to be honest with yourself and with God. Because with God, all things are possible. Like for real, I mean, you hear that all the time, but with God, all things are possible and He will help you through it. But one thing you also got to realize is what you want, it doesn't happen in a day. It takes time. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort and it takes a lot of patience. So really what I would tell the kids is this is a great time for you to learn patience because you think that something's going to happen, whether it's a year or 2 years from now. You have your plans and your goals, but ultimately it's God's plans,
yeah.
right? You just have to be the best vessel. Um, can I say one more thing? If that's good.
Yeah, 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 go ahead.
Yeah, we just got to be God's vessel, and then also, I remember I was talking to a kid about this the other day. Um, we go through different things in time and in seasons, right? But something that you're going through right now, that's for the next season that's coming ahead, right? For me, I'm able to relate to kids that do athletic because I took the time and I played football. Well, at one point in time, I wanted to be in the NFL, but I'm not in the NFL. I stopped growing, bro. I stopped growing. One time I
Yeah,
wanted to be in the NFL, but my drive and my, what I learned from sports, that's helped me out with life so much to keep on pushing through. First I was playing offense and I played defense, and I was a small person playing corner, playing safety, so I had to,
yeah,
get run over a couple times. I had to, learn how to get back up. I had to learn how to tackle big people or tackle big obstacles. And so that's helped me in life. So some of the things you're going through now, it may be a challenge, but it's for your future self in some type of way.
yeah. So how do you as a man and as a husband juggle your ministry, your music, serving, even your career with students, with your parents, to still make sure that you're good and then that you're still making sure that you're the husband that you're supposed to be for your wife?
Well, to be honest, it's not easy. And I was thinking about this the other day. It was literally either Bro, I thought about this morning right before the call. I was like, all right, bro. Now all you got to do this how my head was. All you got to do is keep on teaching these kids, do a good job with them, dedicate that time, keep on practicing your craft, keep on working on your music, keep on being a good husband, um, and keep on, being a good family member, good brother, reach out to your friends, etc. And so what I think is it's just my mom used to say major in the major, minor in the minor, right?
Yeah,
And so the things that are important, that's what I give my effort to, right? And yeah, the things that are important, that's what I give my effort to. The things that may not be as high on the totem pole, I just bring it down and I have an understanding that that's going to get done within time, right?
yeah,
And so it's getting out the rat race and getting out of comparison to try to be like that other person, just really just being content with myself and what I have going on. Right. So I know for a fact that the music and everything that got the art, that's gonna pop off in the right timing. Right. If it was time for that stuff to be happening, it will be happening right now. But since it's not happening right now to the level where I would say I would want it to, it's okay, right? Because right now I'm cultivating children. I'm building something. I'm helping their lives become better. Because I had my course teacher in high school, Mr. Craig Johnson. He is one of the best gifts to earth. The music he makes it amazing. He was a wonderful person. He was somebody that, or he is somebody, because I still talk to him to this day, but he is somebody that continues to speak life into me, right?
Yeah,
So when I'm working with these kids, because I've had somebody in my life who's radically changed my life and who's been present, who's heightened my gifting with music and, with God and everything like that, I know the importance of what I'm doing with these kids right now.
yeah,
Right. Because at one point in time, I was 12, 15, 17, had a dream, but I didn't really have too many people to show me what to do. And then here comes somebody who's investing into my life who can show me a little bit of something, something. And so I would also want to encourage all the mentors to keep on being good because what
yeah,
you're doing is so important, right? What you're doing is so important to have another human being breathe life into you and to help you become better, to help your spirit, man, is so important. So I would like to encourage all mentors to keep on doing what you're doing because it's working and you never know who you're impacting. For real, for
yeah,
real.
yeah. A little bit on the same note of that, how does and how important is it to be able to cultivate your wife's gifts and her ministry at the same time with yours, and how does that look in your eyes? Because
Man,
us that have creative wives and our wife that's in ministry, we have to do that. So even the youth, even young men, even men that's watching or listening, they need to know you can't be just selfish on yours. Sometimes it might be not be your season, it might be your wife's season. So you got to be praying a little bit more. You got to be cultivating a little bit more or doing that. So how does that look inside of your household? Because both of you are creative and both of you are in ministry.
you know what? Sometimes, like you said, it's a challenge because I have things I'm actively building, and she has things that she's actively building. So there are times where she's like, "Hey, I need some help with this." I'm like, "I got this. I got to do." But you know what? I got to help you too because what you're doing is good, and what you're doing is impacting people. What I love to be able to see is to when Jordan, post something, put something out, or just to even hear some of the stories of people like, "Yo, you really helped me when you said this," and to be able to see the fruit from her work. And so the
Yeah,
thing that's the best thing to me is because, especially because there's fruit from what she's doing, I know that it's valuable. And so I have to get out of the brain of my world and, help her world because we're also together. So that's our world, you know.
yeah,
But I would say, because we've been married for about 4.5 years, Jesus Christ. And so it's the from being two people to becoming one and knowing that your problem is my problem, and vice versa. But then your success is my success,
yeah,
and, she helps me with things. I help her with things. She scratched my back. I scratch her back. And so what I would say to fellas is, especially if you got a good woman, you know what I mean? Like for real, it's our duty as men to go that extra mile, right? Because sometimes things be happening and, either it's me or the spirit like, you the man, bro. You gotta be able to carry that.
yeah,
You gotta be able to do both. You gotta be able to help and uplift because one day it's her, but then another day it's gonna be we don't have kids yet, but the next day it's gonna be the kids. And I'm gonna have
yeah,
to make sure my kids are getting what they need, but still do what I gotta do and still help her with what she gotta do. So everything
yeah.
is training for one season to the next, to the next.
Yeah,
Um,
he that finds a wife finds a good thing and obtain favor. Shout out to Jordan and Alexa. Y'all used to kill it when y'all used to have your own screen thing. I thought that was so dope. I used to always be telling my wife in church time, like, look, man, they chemistry dope. Like, man, y'all used to have the prompts and the videos on point, man. So shout out to
appreciate
y'all,
it, man.
y'all union and y'all marriage, and it displays the love, it displays God, and that's what God wants to do, get the glory in anything we do, whether it's ministry, our marriage, or even our beings. Last two questions, I'm gonna get you up out of here. being that the world is so polluted, we talked about this a little earlier with the kids seeing false idols, false images of these rappers and these actors that's acting and living a world and like they ain't really like that at home, but they're putting on. What is important for us to do as mentors and as in our ministry to be able to maintain consistency into getting their ear versus the world getting their ear?
Okay. Well, that just means we got extra work to do, right? And so, for example, for me right now, I have an after school program. I believe I said that right. I got an after school program where I'm teaching my kids singing,
Yeah.
acting. This year, I really want to do a movie with them for the second semester, like a little musical type thing. Um, I'm going to be the best musical maker ever.
Yeah, man, I'm believing that. I
It's,
believe.
it's, it's on the recording. I'm going to be known as
Yeah,
the best musical maker ever. But for me, it's creating content that they like. And what I mean by that is creating content that's with excellence, that sounds good, that they can bob their head to, listen to. But then when they go and read the words, it's uplifting their spirit, right?
yeah,
And so it's counteracting what the enemy's doing. So what he's doing is he's putting out stuff that they can bob their head to that got a bunch of nonsense in it. So I'm going to put out stuff that they can bob their head to that got the spirit in it. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? It's doing that. It's having conversations. So I have multiple conversations with my kids. Once I got like a set of rules that we have, right? And so like rule number 3 is treat your peers with respect. So anytime I see something going on with the kids that's not respectful, I say, what's rule number 3? And then we sit down, we talk about it, right?
yeah,
Rule number 8 is be mature. So sometimes when we have stuff going on and maybe somebody's doing something that it may be true, but it's immature at the time because he may be negatively affecting somebody else. I say, what's rule number 8? Be mature. And then we talk about it, right?
yeah,
It's things where we have to teach the children. We don't talk at the children. We got to teach them because for the most part, children are good. They just get either polluted with the bad stuff or they get fed with the good stuff. And depending on how much is coming at them, that's what they're going to take. But for the most part, unless the child is just, I don't want to say too far gone, but unless the child is just all the way out there, children are attracted to good, you know, but is this good going to make me cool or not? That's a big issue with children if it's cool or not. But they know what's right and they know what's wrong and they know they should do what's right. That's why even most of my friends that I look at now, that when we was in middle school or high school, looking at them now when they're a little bit older, a lot of people talking about God that wasn't talking about God back then. A
yeah,
lot of people are, speaking good and speaking truth that may necessarily they either wasn't back then or they wasn't just standing out saying this is good, da 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 da, or whatever.
yeah,
And a lot more people are good than bad. Just a lot of people aren't. There's not enough speaking out and putting that out into the energy as much into the atmosphere as much as people who are putting out negative energy into the atmosphere.
yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, and they kind of lined up with my last question that I'm about to ask you when we finishing up with this last question. Um, Kids learning their identity, learning that they are who God made them, and they are creative, and they're made in His image, and they can possess the things that God has for them. How can they stand firm on their identity, even if it's getting to know their identity as they do it one step by step? How can they stand firm and walk in their identity and be able to excel and not worry about what the naysayers are saying?
Um, I think one thing that's important is to know that God made you special the way that you are. Let me look here. Yeah, God made you special the way that you are. And there's certain things that uh, make you unique that is going to make you stand out. And there's nothing wrong with standing out because God made all of us different. We're supposed to stand out. We're supposed to be different. Everybody's not supposed to be agreeing on the same thing all the time. We're supposed to have different viewpoints and different ideas. And especially when it comes to being creative, there are special thoughts that come in your head that be like, oh, it would be cool if you did that. Right. And so you have to be able to lean into those thoughts, lean into those giftings, and then see where it goes. One thing that I do when I'm working with my kids right now, um, I'm teaching them like chords and different things like that with the music. And then I'm saying, all right, now you go create what you think sounds good. You go create what you think sounds good. You go mess around here or there. Don't be afraid to play a wrong note. That's part of your process. You don't have to be perfect. So I think a lot of times kids, they want to be perfect. They don't want to look like they mess up or they don't want to fail. But as so many people who are successful say, and even with me just learning stuff, with failure comes growth. With failure comes success. With failure becomes figuring out who you are, what you're willing to do, what you're willing not to do, what do you like, what do you not like, and then actually saying, you know what, I'm okay with who I am. You know,
Yeah.
I think that's important.
Yeah. Man, that was excellent. That was excellent, man. That was excellent, man. I really appreciate you coming on here, man, because time is something you can't get back. But pouring into the youth and pouring into the young men and young women is something that's going to help. So us even doing this is taking a step by being able to pour into them and pour into their future, giving them words or allowing them to know, hey, I was thinking about what he just said, so I'm gonna go and take that. So now I know how to handle certain situations. Because, like you said, a lot of people think they're called, so they don't know how that look, and they think they're weird, or they worry about what their friends said. But being called is something that God has given you, so you either gonna run for it from it and go through a lot of stuff while you're running, and God gonna bring you right back to where He called you from. God chastens the one that He loves, so He's gonna always be with you. And if God is for us, who can be against us, man? How can people follow you and follow your work and see what you're
Oh,
doing?
yeah. Of course. Well, on Instagram, you can follow me at Kayea Creative, KAYEA KREATIVE. Facebook, Nick Kayea, NICK space KAYEA. My website will be up soon. And I have some more stuff that I want to be able to show, with what I got going on with the kids and then also other projects too. But really just follow me on Instagram. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll get all the information that you need to know in due time. Again, my name is Nick Kayea. I'm an actor as well. I was in Atlanta season 4, episode 10, Jesus Revolution. Hopefully a lot more projects will be coming out soon. I make music, I teach. I have an after school program where I'm really building something up for the kids for the future. Creative Village. Um, and there's a lot that's going to be coming out in time. So just be patient because that's what
Yeah,
I'm learning. Be
yeah.
patient.
I'd love to be a part of the after school program, whatever you got going. If I could be an assistant, man, I think it's dope
Where
what
you
you're doing.
stay?
Powder Springs, like 12, 15 minutes from the church.
Oh man, you Powder Spring folks, man. Y'all out there, boy.
Yeah, man. That's how I know embassy was a blessing, because we used to drive farther at our other church, but then it closed down, and then we was checking our embassy, and then they had moved over to the new location. Because I'm over by the old church right now. I'm on Fulton Industrial,
Oh
so
wow.
it was over here. So then it moved over there. It was just like a blessing, man, to see different people, man, to see the movement of God, and me being familiar with Apostle, because my dude Calvin used to cut his hair. But like he said, he don't go around saying I'm an apostle in this. When I met him, he go, "How you doing, Brian?" We was talking about LeBron. This is when LeBron was with the Lakers, and we was just talking about sports. So my dude, like, yeah, I had to cut the pastor hair. I'm like, pastor who? And he like him. He was G'd up, and what I mean, just regular. So then, I know my wife really like in particular about different stuff. She want to know, and hear him. So she started talking about him too. I had seen him when he was doing I don't know if it was a lift special during COVID with his spiritual mom. And I'm familiar with her by the church I used to be with in Ohio. So I put two and two together, and I started, watching them, Cheryl Brady and all them. So then she tells me, hey, they about to open up a church over here. We went, been there ever since, been serving, and been on fire for God, meeting great people like you, your wife, and a lot of different others, man. So God is moving, man, and it's time for us to be useful, man, like you said, and be able to do what we need to do on our part.
You know what? I thank God that we came to Powder Springs because I really feel like He wanted to do something special in that region and in that area.
Yeah,
And I think it's just cool to be able to see um how God calls plays, you know,
Yeah.
because I'm pretty sure we wasn't thinking about going to Powder Spring, you know. But we here and we've met some good people while we've been here. And I just know that God wants to do some stuff in that region for real.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, let's see what happened, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been great though. I'll be in touch. God
All
bless
right,
you,
man.
man.
All
All
right, you
right.
too, man. Have a great day, bro.
So I'm walking in my purpose on purpose, on purpose, on purpose, purpose.